Okay, good evening students. Welcome to V3 News channel. Welcome to V3 News channel. Okay, yesterday we have discussed classification of algae. Today we will discuss about the another group of plants in plant kingdom is bryophytes. 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 Bryan means mass. Phyta means plants. Phyta means plants. What is meant by Bryan? Bryan means mass. Phyta means plants. Phyta means plants. So finally, bryophytes are the mass plants. Bryophytes are mass plants. In first, the term bryophyta used by Brunn. Term bryophyta used by Brunn. The study about bryophytes is called bryology. Study about bryophytes is called bryology. Bryophytes are already we have discussed in previous talk first landed plants. But it means in the course of evolution, and before the bryophytes, algae, the habitat of algae is aquatic. So then after algae and in the course of evolution, first landed plants are called as a bryophytes. Then bryophytes are atracheophytes. But what is meant by atracheophytes? Atracheophytes means A means absent. What is absent? Vascular tissues are absent. No vascular tissues in bryophyta. Because of the bryophytes are called atracheophytes. And bryophyta plants produces embryo. They are called as embryophytes. In bryophyta, female reproductive organ is called as a archegonia. They produces and female reproductive organ is called as archegonia. They are called as a archegoniates. In algae and do not produces archegonia. Algae is a non-archegoniates. Then very important children, in bryophyta there are two and stages are present. How many stages are present? Two stages. What are the two stages? Gametophyte and sporophyte. How many stages are present? Very important. There are two stages, gametophyte and sporophyte. Gametophyte is always haploid. The symbol of haploid is N. Sporophyte is diploid. So in bryophyta, dominating stage is gametophyte. Gametophyte or dominating stage followed by sporophyte. But when comparatively in pteridophyta, next group of plants are pteridophyte. In pteridophyta, the dominating stage is sporophyte. Then followed stage is gametophyte. But anyway, either any group of plant, always gametophyte is haploid, sporophyte is diploid. So in gametophyte plant body, differentiated rhizoids, colloids, phylloids. For example, this is rhizoids. Rhizoids means root-like structures, but they are not true roots. What is the use of rhizoid? Useful for the fixation into the soil. Because of bryophytes are the landed plants. And next, colloid. Stem-like structure is called as a colloid. Then leaf-like structure is called as a phylloid. Leaf-like structure is called as a phylloid. Leaf, it contain midrib and which having cute tip. So in the dominating stage in bryophyta is gametophyte. It is a haploid plant body, differentiated rhizoid, colloid, phylloid. Then in male reproductive organ is called as a antheridium. In bryophyta, male reproductive organ is called as a antheridium. Each Antheridium, it containing two parts. This is called as a stalk. Stalk. Above the stalk, club-shaped antheridium. Club-shaped antheridium. Each antheridium, it contains thick-walled cells. Thick-walled cells. In the upper side, thin-walled cells, they are called as a cap cells. Cap cells. In antheridium, produces anthrozoids or male gametes. Male gametes. Male gametes. Antheridium produces male gametes. Male gametes. Male gametes are biflagellated, sickle-shaped male gametes. Male gametes are biflagellated, sickle-shaped male gamete. These biflagellated male gametes are produced by matured antheridia. Then female reproductive organ is called as a archegonia. Female reproductive organ is called archegonia. Each archegonia, it contains two parts. This is venter. This is neck. Neck containing neck canal cells. Neck canal cells. Neck canal cells. And tip of the neck, it containing caps. Thin walled cells are called as a cap cells. Cap cells. Then in neck and venter. Venter, venter produces egg cell. Egg cell is called as a female gamete. Female gamete. Once again, see children. So in bryophyta, there are two stages are present, and gametophyte is the dominant stage, and sporophyte is the following stage. The dominant stage gametophyte is differentiated rhizoid, colloid, phylloid. Rhizoid means root-like structures, which helps to fixation into the soil. Stem-like structure is called as a colloid. Leaf-like structure is called as a phylloid. And leaf, it contains leaf margin, midrib, and cute tip is present. Then later, male reproductive organ is called as a antheridium. Female reproductive organ is called as a archegonium. Antheridium produces male gamete. Archegonium produces female gamete. Female gamete. Matured antheridium and thin-walled cells, cap cells are ruptured. Male gametes are released into the archegonia, towards the archegonia. Required water. Water, very, very important. In bryophyta, fertilization required water. So, male gametes are motile gametes. Motile means which have flagella. Flagellated male gametes are anthrozoids released from the antheridium. Then later reaches the archegonium. In the archegonium, tip of the archegonium, neck cells are degenerated. Neck canal cells also degenerated. Then later, and male gametes are reaches to the archegonium of the venter. Archegonium of venter. So then finally, fusion of male and female gamete is called as a fertilization. What is fertilization? Fusion of male and female gamete is called as a fertilization. Fertilization required water. Very, very important. Fertilization required water. After that, so up to here, this portion is called as a gametophyte. 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 Gametophyte means antheridium produces male gamete, archegonium produces female gamete. Fusion of the male and female gamete to form a zygote. This is called as a zygote. Zygote. Zygote develops into a embryo. Zygote develops into a embryo. Zygote develops into a embryo. Embryo develops into a sporophyte. Embryo develops into a sporophyte. But embryo not develops into a seed. This embryo develops into a sporophyte. Sporophyte. This portion is called as a sporophyte. 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 So just now I told to you there are two stages. What are the two stages? Gametophyte and sporophyte. The gametophyte plant body is haploid, dominating stage, and then it is differentiated rhizoid, colloid, phylloid, but do not possess vascular tissues because of they are not true roots, not true stems, not true leaves. Then later male reproductive organ is called as antheridium, female reproductive organ is called as archegonium. Antheridium produces male gametes or anthrozoids, and male gametes are released and reaches on the archegonium. In the archegonium venter, it containing egg cell, fusion of the male and female gamete, and produces zygote. Zygote immediately not taking reduction division, then later after few time, then zygote develops into a embryo develops into a sporophyte. Embryo develops into a sporophyte. Sporophyte, it is differentiated foot, setae, capsule. Setae, capsule. So the dominate stage followed by sporophyte. Sporophyte is developed from the embryo. Sporophyte is differentiated, and three parts. Basal part of the sporophyte is called as a foot. The last part of the sporophyte is called as a capsule. Between the capsule and setae, between the capsule and foot and the stalk-like structure is called as a setae. But what is the function of sporophyte? Sporophyte produces spores. Sporophyte produces spores. In the capsule produces spore mother cell. Spore mother cell. Just now what I told to you, sporophyte is always diploid. Sporophyte is always diploid. But how it is diploid? So when the male gamete is haploid, antheridium produces male gamete, archegonium produces female gamete. Male and female gametes are haploid. Haploid gametes produces zygote. Zygote is diploid. Diploid zygote and produces diploid embryo. Diploid embryo develops into a sporophyte. Embryo sporophyte means embryo develops into a sporophyte. Embryo diploid means sporophyte is diploid. Sporophyte diploid means foot is diploid, setae is diploid, capsule is diploid. Capsule is diploid. Capsule is diploid. Diploid sporophyte produces in the capsule spore mother cell. What is the ploid of spore mother cell? Diploid. What is the symbol of diploid? 2A. Diploid mother cell undergoes reduction division, produces haploid spores. Haploid spores. Haploid spores. Are you clear, children? So diploid sporophyte, differentiated foot, setae, capsule. A capsule produces diploid spore mother cell. Diploid spore mother cell undergoes reduction division, produces haploid spores. Haploid spores. Haploid spores. Haploid spores. If the spores are only one kind of spores produced by bryophyte, so it is called as a homosporous. Homosporous. What is meant by homosporous? What is meant by homosporous? A sporangium produces one kind of spores is called as a homosporous. Homosporous. In bryophyta is a homosporous. Then haploid spores, and haploid spores are germinated, develops into a new gametophyte. New gametophyte. Once again, children. So bryophyta. Bryophyta means mass plant. How we can say mass plant? Bryon means mass. Phyta means plants. Bryophytes are the mass plants. Study about bryophytes is called as a bryology. The first term bryophyta used by Brunn. The first bryophytes are the first landed plants. Atracheophytes. Atracheophyte means that plants do not possess vascular tissues. Embryophytes, just now we are discussing fusion of the male and female gamete produces embryo, they are called as a embryophyte. In bryophyta, female reproductive organ is called as a archegonia. They are called as a archegoniates. Then bryophyta, there are two stages, gametophyte and sporophyte. Gametophyte is always haploid, sporophyte is always diploid. Gametophyte plant body differentiated rhizoid, colloid and phyllid. Means rhizoid means root-like structure, colloid means stem-like structure, phyllid means leaf-like structure but do not possess and vascular tissues because of they are not roots to stems to leaves. Then later male reproductive organ is called as antheridium, female reproductive organ is called as archegonium. Antheridium produces male gametes. What type of male gametes are produced by antheridium? Biflagellated, sickle-shaped male gametes are produced by matured antheridium. Then later and archegonium. Archegonium, it contains two parts. What are the two parts? Venter and neck. And venter produces female gamete is called as egg cell. And male gametes, sickle shaped male gametes are released from the antheridium, reaches to the archegonium into the venter. The fusion of male and female gamete is called as a fertilization. The fertilization product is zygote. Zygote is diploid or haploid? Diploid. Zygote develops into a embryo. Embryo also diploid. Diploid embryo develops into a sporophyte. But what is sporophyte? Sporophyte produces spores. But what type of spores are produced? Homosporous or heterosporous? The sporophyte differentiated three parts: foot, setae, capsule. Basal part of the sporophyte is called as a foot. Middle or elongated stalk-like structure is called as a setae. Then and last part of the sporophyte is called as a capsule. Capsule, very important. Capsule produces spore mother cell. What is the plight of spore mother cell? Diploid. Spore mother cell undergoes reduction division, produces haploid spores. Because of production of and spores, and only one kind of spores are produced in the capsule, bryophytes is a homosporous. Then later during the spores are released from the capsule. Spores are released from the capsule. For example, matured capsule, the thin-walled portion and rupture or breaking or dehiscency, the spores are released, fall off on the soil. This is the spore. This spore during the unfavorable condition covered by thick wall. During the favorable condition, observe the water, then later exine wall is ruptured with the intine wall produces a long tube-like structure is called as a protonema. So this is called as a predominant stage in Mosses plant, and then predominant stage followed by dominant stage is called as a gametophyte. Gametophyte followed by sporophyte. This is a spore germinated, produces long tube-like structure is called as a protonema. Protonema lower side produces rhizoids, upper side produces green color branches are called as a chloronymal branches. Axils of the chloronymal branches produces bud. After the formation of bud, this primary protonema or predominant protonema is degenerated. What is degenerated? Primary protonema is degenerated. Then later this bud develops into again new gametophyte. What is a new gametophyte means? New gametophyte means again it is differentiated rhizoid, colloid, phyllid, again antheridium and archegonium, then later and sporophyte. But here one more important point. Here this is the gametophyte, this is the sporophyte. Here one more important point, very important point to remember, the sporophyte is partial. Here important question, why sporophyte is partial sporophyte? Means sporophyte cannot absorb the water from the soil, So, and capsule it containing green color chloroplast which can perform photosynthesis, but photosynthesis required water. But the sporophyte is not present in the soil, cannot absorb the water. Then what happened? Sporophyte absorb the water from the gametophyte. Because of in Bryophyta, sporophyte is a partial sporophyte. Why Bryophyta sporophyte is partial sporophyte? Means cannot absorb the water directly. It is and depend on the sporophyte, depend on the gametophyte for water, but which containing chloroplast, it can perform photosynthesis. Then next one, in Bryophyta there are three classes. Like algae. What are three classes of algae? Chlorophyce, Phaeophyce, Rhodophyce. Like in Bryophyta also there are three classes. Hepaticopsida, Anthoceratopsida, and mosses. Like algae, there are three classes in Bryophyta. What are the three classes? Hepaticopsida, Anthoceratopsida and mosses. In Hepaticopsida included liverworts. Anthoceratopsida, it containing anthoceras. In mosses, Funaria and Sphagnum and Polytrichum. So liverworts. But what are the liverworts? Liverworts example: Rixia, Marcantia. Rixia is a monoecious. But what is meant by monoecious? Male and female reproductive organ present on the same plant is called as a monoecious. Marcantia is a dioecious. Very important, children. There are three classes. First one, Hepaticopsida included liverworts. Example, Rixia and Marcantia. Rixia is a monoecious. What is monoecious? Means male and female reproductive organs. What is the reproductive organ? Antheridium, archegonium present on the same plant is called as a monoecious. Male and female reproductive organ present on the different plant is called as a dioecious. For example, Marcantia, very important. Marcantia is a dichotomous dorsiventral thalloid structure. But what is the dichotomous? For example, this is one Marcantia. Dichotomous means dichotomous means leaf is differentiated two rows. But dorsiventral means Marcantia, it is differentiated. This portion is called as a dorsal. This portion is called as a ventral. Ventral side produces rhizoids. Rhizoids means not a true roots. What is the use of? Fixed into the soil. So Marcantia is a dioecious plant. Marcantia is a dichotomous dorsiventral thalloid. What is the dorsiventral means? The Marcantia thallus body differentiated dorsal ventral. Ventral side produces and rhizoids. Rhizoids means root-like structure, but not a two roots because of lack of or absent of vascular tissues. Then next, one more important point here, see in the ventral side it containing green color multicellular structures called as a gemme. Gemme. What is gemme? Vegetative or asexual reproductive structure. This green color multicellular structure detached or separated from the markentia. Detached or separated from the markentia. What happened? Again develops into a new thallus. New thallus. Then markentia it included. So it then later remaining. Most of the bryophyta characters are similar, means dominant gametophyte stage, then followed by sporophyte. This is the gametophyte stage. Rhizoid, colloid, this is called as a colloid. Phylloid. Phylloid is a leaf-like structure, and then later dichotomous, dorsiventral, thalloid structure produces green color multicellular, and structures are called as a gemme. They helps in vegetative reproduction. Then later, so there are, for example, this is a and male plant produces antheridium, female plant produces archegonium. Male and female reproductive organ present at the different plant is called as a dioecious because of very important markentia is the example of the liverworts. Liverworts included Hepaticopsida, and markentia is a dioecious. Then later after that fusion of the male and female gamete produces sporophyte. Sporophyte produces same. Spores are dispersal by illators. So here male reproductive organ is called as antheridium, female reproductive organ is called as archegonium, then fusion to form a zygote, zygote develops into embryo, embryo develops into a sporophyte, sporophyte produces spores, the spores are released by dispersal structures are called as illators. Next, some few important difference between the and Anthoceratopsida. Anthoceratopsida example Anthoceras. Very important. Liverworts example Markentia. Anthoceratopsida example Anthoceras. In the Anthoceras, and there are two stages, gametophyte and sporophyte, and sporophyte is a horn-like sporophyte. Sporophyte differentiated same three parts, food, setae, capsule, but instead of the setae, intercalary meristem. So just now I explained clearly, sporophyte differentiated food, setae, capsule, but in Anthoceras instead of the setae, and in sporophyte instead of the setae what is present? Intercalary meristem. Then later in Anthoceras spores dispersal by pseudoillators. This is the important difference between the liverworts and Anthoceras. Very important to remember. Markentia is the example of the liverworts. Markentia is a dioecious plant. It is a dichotomous dorsiventral thalloid structure. In the Markentia, green color multicellular and structures are called as a gemme. Gemme helps in vegetative reproduction when comparative, and in Markentia sporophyte and capsule spores dispersal by illators. In Anthoceras horn-like structures are called as a horn-like structure sporophyte. Intercalary meristem, spores are dispersal by pseudoillators. Next one, last classification of in bryophyta is mosses. Just now I said mosses, and very important, the free dominant stage. What is the free dominant stage? The spores fall off from the soil, develops into a primary protonema. Primary protonema is degenerated, but develops into a rhizoid, colloid, phylloids are called as a dominant stage. Dominant stage. Very, very important. In mosses, dominant stage is called as a gametophyte. Gametophyte followed by sporophyte. Sporophyte. Gametophyte, sporophyte. Gametophyte is a dominant stage. This is followed stage. But when comparatively remaining classification, free dominant stage is present in mosses. Then later in mosses, spores dispersal by peristomial teeth. Peristomial teeth. Peristomial teeth. Peristomial teeth. When comparatively liverworts, spores dispersal by illators. Hornworts, spores dispersal by pseudoillators. Mosses, spores dispersal by peristomial teeth. Peristomial teeth. So this is the important differences between the liverworts and mosses. Can you say examples of the liverworts? Liverworts example, Markensia. Hornworts example, Anthoceras. And in mosses example, so Funaria. And examples, Funaria, Sphagnum, Polytrichum. Funaria is called as a moss plant. Sphagnum is a peat moss. Polytrichum is a hair moss. For example, in liverworts, Markensia is a dioecious, means according to the NCERT diagram, Funaria and Sphagnum is a monoecious. But what is monoecious? Male and female reproductive organ, Antheridium, Archegonium present on the same plant is called as a monoecious. Very, very important. Funaria is a moss plant, Sphagnum is a peat moss, Polytrichum is a hair moss.